Previously on Featherstone Bicycles. Well, we're nearing the end of the process. We have to put our chain ring together, our kickstand together. We still have to clean the rear and the front derailleurs. And I was able to source a new seat. If you remember back to the first episode when we did the walkthrough, it was something kind of funky about the vinyl on the top of this seat had pulled back somehow from the base of it, and I was able to get a similar Schwinn approved seat, and we'll have that. And then the only other thing we're going to do today is wipe down our frame, which we waxed last time. That is what's happening on this episode of Featherstone Bicycles. We're going to start by putting the crank and the chain rings and the chain ring guard back together. Put a little Teflon on there. Slide the small chain ring over first, which locks into place not only with the nut that gave us so much trouble, but this protrusion from the crank itself, and a hole in the small chain ring. That's good enough. Then on this side, on the outside, comes the larger chain ring, and then the chain ring guard. Put a little Teflon on those nuts. and tighten them down. There it is, ready to go. Okay, we're going to put the kickstand together. We start with the spacer that has the groove in it that holds the external pin to the, attaches the whole thing to the bracket that's on the frame, then the spring, and then the washer. We put that in the vise. Again, we have to do that at an angle. And then we put this jaw of the vise on the lower half of that washer. Until the opening for this pin is revealed. That's it. So there's our piece. Okay, so let's get started on the the rear shifter and derailleur. Start by taking this wing nut off the shifter. Then there's a kind of a washer, concave, convex type of thing. The concave side goes down towards the shifter. This piece then comes off that way. There's seems like some kind of a fibrous washer. And then you've got the actual shift lever, another fibrous washer, and then the bolt. So that is how that all comes apart. Got some of our solvent here. Dip a little onto the steel wool. Most of this cleaning is going to occur on the wire wheel. Just like to get some of the grease and grime off of a piece before I put it on the wheel, because the wheel works good in bringing back the brightness and getting rid of the dullness, but sort of wreaks havoc on a piece if it's got grime on it, oil, grease, etc. little wheel back together. Bushing goes in, dust caps go on. I'm going to put a little drop or two of Phil's tenacious oil on there, so we keep it spinning nice and smooth. And then that goes put that in between first, and then put this through. There we go. Tighten that up in a second. This. And we got this on the other side. There. All right. These pieces are afterwards. And that's all the rear. So put it back in the bag. And we'll move on to the front. And we will start with the cable stop. I'm gonna have to look at my pictures, which I can't do while I'm filming because I'm filming with my camera and my pictures are on the camera. All right, so I got it part of the way here. This piece goes on here. Let me screw these screws part way down. The tricky bit, because it's under pressure from the springs, is going to be getting the two levers I've already got the bushings inside these two, but See, this is under a lot of pressure, but I've got to get this side in first. And then I've got to, first of all, wind this screw back so it's flush. And I've got to get this part levered over so it lines up with the screw hole, and at the same time start to screw it in. All right, well, I got it on. I stopped the camera there because I freaked out because I thought the spring sprung on me and I thought I lost one of the bushings, which really would have been taken forever to find in this shop. And but I was able to use the channel locks to lever this arm down, which is under pressure from the spring in here, and line it up, and then get the screw through, and then get the bushing on, get the nuts on, got it all tightened up. So that's that. I'm not going to show the other shifter on camera because we've already seen. But what I will show is I'm going to clean up this seat a little bit. We just got some simple green all-purpose cleaner. As I turn it over, I realize there's going to be one more little bit of cleaning that I'm going to do, which is the hardware on here. So the last little bit we'll do today is take a clean rag and wipe off the wax that we put on the other day, last week's episode. Boy, I have to tell you, this paint, I think I'd said this in another video, but I fast forwarded through it, so you missed me talking about it. But this paint, I said back in the first episode that Schwinn called this, their name for this was flamboyant red. But back in the day, in the 60s and 70s, the era of muscle cars, hot rods, maybe even the 50s, I would have called this candy apple red. It's a beautiful color, beautiful paint. And this Meguiar's did a great job on it. I hope the brilliance of this red color is coming through on the video. Can never tell until I start editing. And this paint really holds up well over the years. I mean, this bike is 46 years old. Well, 45 in a few months if it was made in December of 77. Again, it's a 78 model. That's it. Okay, the bike frame is back up on the support and nice and shiny. I can stop worrying about hitting my head on this thing. And the shifters and derailleurs are done. Everything's clean. All that's left is to put it all back together. That's going to happen next week. I'm going to have a different approach to that episode. You have to wait and see what that's all about. But I hope you will see me next week on Featherstone Bicycles.